Hey guys, how's it going? In this video, we're going to be tackling the 4 easy steps that you can take to improve your fitness routine and the one horrible mistake that you want to avoid as you continue to look to improve your fitness as you are getting a little bit older. So I am closing out my 30s, and as I'm looking to welcome in my 40s, I thought these 4 simple steps were changes that I made that really helped me that I think will be able to help you. 30s are kind of an interesting decade because there's quite often a lot of things that'll happen in your life that kind of change your focus, right? Change what's important to you, where you're putting your time, and you also kind of get those first hints of aging, right? So your metabolism starts slowing down. You start waking up feeling a little achy some days. You can't go out and hit the bars and then get up early the next day and feel just fine. So lots of those kind of changes. You know, a lot of people have big career aspirations, so trying to dedicate time and focus on that. A lot of people will start a family in their 30s, settle down, get married. So life changes a lot in your 30s. So let's jump right into the big mistake that you want to avoid while approaching your health and fitness in your 30s. And that's going to be, well, number one, I mean, kind of not really where we're going, but not working out at all, right? I mean, I assume if you're here, you're watching this video, that you're working out, you're health conscious in some fashion. So let's just kind of push that one aside. Assume that you're doing some kind of workout. I would say the biggest mistake that people make is not changing and adapting their fitness routine as they're going through the 30s, right? Trying to do what you did in your 20s, trying to do what used to work, you know, when you were working out for high school sports or maybe even college sports or whatever the case may be. You're going to need a different approach. Things are changing and you need to change along with that. So you want to avoid making that one big mistake of approaching everything in the same way and instead implement some of these 4 easy steps that we're about to go over to keep improving your fitness routine. So one of the biggest changes that you're going to have to make is realizing that recovery is going to come a little bit slower to you. Right? So you can't continuously hit your body with the same stimulus over and over and think that things are not going to break down, because unfortunately they will. So that means you can approach your recovery in a few different ways. One, recovery could just be taking a break in between hitting days of certain exercises, right? So giving your muscles more time to actually recover between workouts where you're exercising those muscles. So another form of recovery is actually called active recovery. So that means you're actually doing things to increase the speed of your recovery. So doing things that increase blood flow and that kind of gently move the muscle around and keep it loose so you're not tightening up. Things like it could be as simple as taking walks or doing foam rolling, doing some light dynamic movements that just kind of move around the joint, stretch the muscle real gently. Any of those sort of things are going to help speed up the recovery process. That, along with just good old-fashioned rest, will help address recovery so that you're hitting your workouts with the appropriate frequency. So the next big change you're going to make is approaching your warm-ups properly. So that means you're doing some sort of dynamic warm-up, right? So we're moving the body parts that we're about to exercise. So we're moving them in a big range of motion to get them loosened up. It means that you're going to do some sort of active warm-up where you're going to be activating the muscles that you're about to work out. So there may be some dormant muscles that aren't always firing properly. You want to get those isolated and working. And the final part is actually a good old cardio warm-up. So there's something that's going to actually move you around and raise your body temperature, get your muscles warm and ready to do the workout. A warmed muscle is less likely to be injured than approaching a workout cold. If you live in the South and it's summer like it is here now, you could just walk down the driveway and get the mail. That always gets me sweating. The third change that you can make to your routine is probably the biggest change that I made in the last 10 years, and that is introducing a variety of exercise. So back in my 20s, working out meant lifting weights. You're either lifting weights or you're lifting weights or you're lifting weights. And in my 30s, I actually got into endurance sports and just kind of dialed back on the weights a bit. And now I do running, I do biking, still suck at swimming, maybe one day. I'll dabble in some boxing, go on walks. I still lift weights, but you can see there's just a variety of activities I'm doing, so I'm staying active and also just putting a different stimulus on my body quite frequently so that I'm not going to get into some of those overuse injuries that kind of creep up on you in your 30s. Okay, finally, and probably most unfortunately, the fourth change that you're going to make is your approach to your nutrition. Unfortunately, your metabolism is going to be slowing down in your 30s. You're going to find that if you try to eat the same way you did in your 20s, those pounds are going to creep right up on you. Your metabolism is not what it used to be. And if you work a desk job like I do, and you're not moving too much throughout the day, then you need even less calories. So keeping track of what you're actually eating is going to be a big part of staying in good shape. You'll probably also find that you can't just have alcohol the way you may have in your 20s. I find that if I have one drink earlier on in the day, I'm probably okay. If I have two, then all bets are off. If I track my sleep, which I do on my watch at night, I'll see my sleep sucks. I'll be restless. I just don't get the REM sleep. I wake up and just don't really feel great. That's just from two drinks. What happened? And the easiest way I find to actively improve your nutrition is to track your calories. Do that for at least a week just to get an idea of what the appropriate portion size is. I use the MyFitnessPal app. You could use whatever you like. I'm sure there's a ton of tracking apps at this point, but that's the one I use. The simplest formula you could find for how many calories you should be having, body weight times 12. Very simple. Now, if you have more weight to lose and you're very sedentary right now, maybe as low as body weight times 10 for a calorie selection. If you have a great metabolism, you're very active during the day, or maybe you're not even trying to lose weight, you're just trying to be more healthy, then body weight times 13 or even higher might be appropriate for you. But again, if you're just tracking for a week, let's say you want to see if you need to make adjustments, maybe make it 2 weeks. Then you kind of get an idea of the appropriate portion size that makes up the calories that you need for a day. So that's the best way to approach that. All right, so let's remember, it's number 1, recovery. Number 2, warm-ups. Number 3, variety in your exercise routine. Number 4, nutrition. If you tackle each of those, you'll find that your fitness routine will help you age like a fine wine that you can no longer drink too much of. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know in the comments down below. If you think that there's something that was a glaring omission, let me know. If you think that some of these are not important at all, let me know. I'd be happy to discuss it with you. We'll have a lot more of topics like this, or we could dive deeper into one of them. We'll try and touch on some various things. I don't know. I thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you did and you enjoyed the content, consider giving it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, do all that kind of fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next